and I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan in Canada. I work in the field of graphic design, though I am not the designer. I'm a bindery worker, so I'm very hands-on and deal with machines and printers. I'm speaking on behalf of an amazing organization called Compétences Canada as a member of the National Alumni Committee. Having a job in a trade means you are a technically skilled employee who would have the special schooling that is specific to your job. Skills Canada works hard to promote the trades and technology sectors. Each year, they host competitions provincially, and then there's one big national competition. I am so glad to be a part of this global innovation field trip through our supporting partnership with the Learning Partnership. Passion, courage, belonging are values that I hold close to my heart and have found as part of my journey on Skills Canada. As a child, I knew I was captivated by art in Disney. I knew that they brought me happiness, and I knew that I wanted to bring this joy to everyone else. I just wasn't exactly sure how or when I would do this. As I got older, I found a better phrase for that happiness. It's called having passion for what you do. I could tell from the finished product that the animators had poured their hearts into their work, and it cleared showed in the fine details. They had passion for their job. However, I personally had never found myself having passion for a job until I found my trade of graphic design. Getting the closest career to my dream job was not an easy road to take. In high school, my career counselor pushed very hard for me to only consider university. For a while, it was the only option, and I had a very stressful time finding courses that I was even remotely interested in. The pressure to attend university was astronomical. From Skills Canada in general, I have managed to break apart the stereotype that trades would be a secondary choice. Hopefully, I've gotten others to see this too. There is so much more offered as a trained, skilled employee based on how efficient the schools are. I have a 2-year diploma in graphic communications, and I've been working in the field since 2015, nearly right after I graduated. I know friends who are still just finishing their university degrees, and I can confidently say that I've got a head start on years worked in the industry. Not to mention the extra years of student debt that I also don't have. During my graphic design training, I found myself comparing my projects to my classmates constantly. I always felt like theirs were better in some way or another. Even if we scored the same for marks, I felt I wasn't good enough. I truly struggled with my self-doubt. I didn't have someone telling me that I wasn't good enough. In fact, quite the opposite. My parents always encouraged me to try something different and to go after my dreams. Instead, it was my own voice in the back of my head telling me that I wasn't good enough, that I was bad at this and I should just stop. It was only once I competed in the Skills Canada Provincials for Saskatchewan in 2015 that I saw my true potential. I placed second, and my self-doubt started to be on the back burner. That medal proved to me that I did have the drive to succeed, and that I do have the abilities to perform to industry standards in a short amount of time. I finally felt like I was in the right place. That feeling of belonging with what I was doing really shattered my self-doubt. Skills Canada gave me a place among the talent and convinced me I was one of them. I no longer had to fight with myself over if I was doing good or poorly, if I should stay, or if I should quit. Everything was finally at peace. Skills competitions are a place for everyone to feel like they belong. There's always something to learn if you keep an open mind, and you never know exactly where you're going to learn it from. It's because of my struggle that I was able to develop my skills to have courage. I'm not afraid of my journey. It's really hard to share, but it lets me grow from my past. Using the values of passion, belonging, and courage daily makes them part of your identity. I'm able to talk to you here today because of my involvement in my trade has given me a sense of belonging and the courage to drown out self-doubt. Being a competitor in the 2015 Saskatchewan provincial competition showed me that dedication and determination are required for success in any career. I learned that being afraid to apply for industry jobs is normal. That going from working whatever hours you can find around your school classes to working 9 to 5 is a big life change, and it's totally okay to be afraid. Skills gave me the courage to apply for these jobs, even when it was hard. Having a medal at provincials proved to me that not only was I good enough to get the job, but if I kept trying my best during interviews, eventually I would land one. Listing silver on my resume was handy for potential employers because they could see that I was up to industry standards and could work under pressure. Plus, they could see that I was serious about my trade since I had gone to compete at a high level. From being a competitor, Skills Canada has given me tons of opportunities to grow. I have been a part of the Essential Skills Youth Forum, which does research on a new topic each year. I was brought back for this forum as a leader the following year. When Canada turned 150 years old in 2018, I was asked to be a part of the alumni event. I represented my province on the Alumni Committee and shortly after became the president for the Saskatchewan Alumni Committee. I am currently the chair for the National Alumni Committee, which is significant because being on these committees has taught me the importance of collaboration and camaraderie, which are lessons that I take directly back to my career life as I have 3 very close coworkers I see every day. Skills is a gathering of talent from all fields, lifestyles, and points of view. There is so much to be learned from a shared experience with lots of viewpoints coming together. From doing all the computer class training, I learned that I'm actually more of a hands-on person. I can't just sit around at a computer all day or I lose focus on what I'm doing. In my 2-year diploma course, I was also studying bindery. Bindery is a fancy word for anything that happens to paper after it's printed before it goes to the customer. Having a job in a trade or technology is perfect for anyone who likes to work with their hands. I'm constantly moving around at work, using different machinery to get jobs done. My mind is always occupied with something, which is really important to me as I don't like being bored. At any given day, I run a paper inserter, which will take regular flat 8.5 by 11 paper, fold it, stuff it into an envelope, and then seal that envelope for me. I run a coil binder, a stitcher, which is a giant stapler. I run a massive paper cutter and large-scale production printers. It's not uncommon for me to be covered in paper dust or have paper cuts on both my hands. Both are worth it at the end of the day since I get pride from my finished product. I think it's really cool to see foam cores that I've mounted out at public events or posters that I've laminated throughout my office building hallways. Some of the tricks that I've learned while in my current job are mostly how to do workarounds with the printer. If it doesn't like to fold and staple a certain type of paper because of the weight, I can manually overwrite the weight to say that it's lighter, then the machine will accept it and then fold and staple like I wanted in the first place. I've learned a lot about the mechanics of the industrial machines too. For example, if something goes wrong, my first go-to is to look at the printer monitor to see if it will tell me what's wrong. It usually does, but if I can't find the problem, then I look for the manual instead of calling the technician right away. Every time I call, it takes about an hour of my time for that technician to get to me, and then they also have to troubleshoot the problem for themselves too. I've learned that in the printers, when it's jammed in section 1, but I can't find the paper, normally it's in the doorway to section 2, but counts as a jam in section 1. Also, like any printer at your house, when it shows low ink, somehow it still has ink to print a whole lot more than it says. I've been in charge of the weekly calibration settings too. So doing this makes sure that the ink stays consistent throughout the entire run. So if I'm printing 1,000 posters and I start off with a dark blue color and my calibration settings are wrong, this means that by the last poster printed, it might be a lighter blue. It might not be super noticeable, but I know it's wrong. The programs that I work with for the printers are always being updated too. Since I started this job in 2015, I've seen the main program, which is called Fiery, go through 2 mega updates. In the graphic design related work, Adobe is the king of programs, and they are always advancing the creative cloud. Innovation is all around me. As technology becomes more advanced, so do my printer settings and machines. From taking part in the Skills Canada competitions, I've seen that it's very clear just how much enthusiasm each competitor has for their trade or technology. Skills opened my eyes to seeing that passion is a tangible thing, that when someone truly loves what they're doing, you can see it. You can see their pride, their passion. that when someone loves going to work, they just shine. I have been taught that thoroughly enjoying what your job is the best way to ensure a life filled with passion. I'm very thankful that I got to be a part of Skills Canada when I did, since it has allowed me to grow as a person and taught valuable lessons I hadn't yet learned in life. My advice to youth everywhere is simple. Go after your heart. Trust yourself. Don't forget to do research into what the trade or trades you are interested in do in their daily tasks. Talk to someone who does it. Chances are you may already know a worker in that field. Remember that each trade and technology is creative in its own way. Landscaping, hairstyling, and baking are all trades. Not every trade is going to be back-breaking work outside. Some are inside with air conditioning. Don't let fear or self-doubt stop you. There is a trade waiting for you, and I can't wait to see how far you go. Thanks.
Thank you, Britnee. That was amazing. And I appreciate the way you're so transparent and that you told us that this has basically changed who you are and helped you find your voice. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here today. Just a quick shout out to Kayleen McCabe, who is the featured spokesperson for Skills USA in the United States and also travels all around the world. So I'm going to make sure she hooks up with you. I'm sure she'll be very proud of you.
Oh, perfect. I can't wait. And thank you so much for hosting this live event. Like you said, it's only been 3 hours, but I know you guys are going to do fantastic the rest of the